Hey guys, Omni here, and if you saw my last video, you'd know that I covered Screen Junkies Honest trailer for the modern Doctor Who series. And, I know a lot of people that watch that, at least the majority of people that I've talked to that watch the current series have not gone back and actually watched the classic show. During the hiatus between the previous season and the one that just started this week, I'm going to take this off before it falls off. I needed a little bit of a Doctor Who fix, and I'm not going to lie, I signed up for BritBox. I watched every episode that they had available of the classic series, and it was a chore at times, but I powered through all 26 seasons, or series as they called it, of the show from beginning to end, every available currently surviving episode that they have of the show. For the ones they didn't have listed or recreated in some form, I did find the plot synopsis online somewhere, and I did read every episode's breakdown of what happened in all of them, so I wasn't missing anything, because they would come back with an episode they actually had, and it would reference something that happened before, or characters will have changed, because you're like, well, where did so-and-so go? But I did make it through. I even tracked down and watched the Paul McGann Doctor Who movie, which was the only appearance until the Day of the Doctor storyline, where we got a short clip of him reprising his role as the Doctor, as the 8th Doctor. But I'm surprised that they did this. This was commitment. Screen Junkies went back and did this because it was part of a rewards tier for their fundraiser for women in film. They hit a goal, they capped out, and they, per their obligation, they went back, they split it amongst themselves, but they all powered through the classic series and the modern series up until its current form. And let's go ahead and check out what they got. I'm really curious to see how they react to some of the classic Who stuff. Like I said, it was pretty hard to get through. Some of those spots were really rocky, but let's go ahead and check it out.
You know his name.
I'm the Doctor.
You know his face, and you know his mission.
Always search for truth. My truth is in the stars.
Unless you're not from the United Kingdom, then you probably don't know any of those things.
I didn't.
Now,
I'm not a fan of that
years
one.
Of classic sci-fi television that will determine once and for all if you're a fan of Doctor Who or a Doctor Who fan.
I guess I have that badge of honor, according to them at least.
Classic Doctor Who. Meet the Doctor, a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey,
Tom Baker,
who travels through space-time in a machine called the TARDIS. And if that's already too weird for you,
I love the first
because
companions.
It's about to get a whole lot weirder.
We're on the planet of the cheetah people, intelligent carnivores.
Journey through 3
Yeah.
decades of adventure as the show, the Doctor, keeps things fresh by regenerating into new bodies every few years, like the crabby old man Doctor.
Yeah.
The beetle haircut childlike Doctor.
He's one of my favorites for sure. The second Doctor, love it. Love him.
The snake-tatted Kung Fu Austin Powers Doctor. This is what most people think all of classic Doctor Who is, Doctor.
I love him. I love the fourth man.
He seems nice, Doctor.
He was okay. Yeah.
The kind of arrogant even for the Doctor.
I'm sorry. I was waiting for him to go away.
Almost out of gas, coasting on goodwill, Doctor.
Hey, Sylvester McCoy was alright.
And the TV movie one-off George Lazenby Doctor.
And I wish we got more time with this Doctor. I thought that movie was actually pretty interesting.
The TARDIS, one thing remains constant. He is either the most overrated or underrated Doctor of all time, in either the most overrated or underrated era of the show. Okay, look, getting Doctor Who fans to agree on who's the best Doctor is like trying to watch every episode of Doctor Who. It's pretty much impossible, so why even try? Why does the
everybody has
Doctor
their- aw,
take on
Sarah.
some of the most iconic villains of all time, like the Daleks,
She,
Exterminate him! Exterminate him! Exterminate him!
the Cybermen,
We meet again.
see, I knew the Daleks and the Cybermen were always around from that point, but like, there's a lot of other alien creatures that I didn't know carried over from the old show, like the Silurians, the Santarans, the Autons, or living plastic as they call it in the new one.
Rubber spiders.
Oh my god. And that's an episode, that is, spoilers, that is the episode where the third Doctor dies.
The Gimp from Pulp Fiction.
I will pay 8 kilos for the
Oh.
next shipment.
A series of dudes with buckets on their heads.
Omega.
The inflatable plastic chair of doom.
I can't believe this even happened. But it is the time. I've seen weirder things in our culture.
Up on the spot.
They're daemons from the planet Deimos.
Watch them face off in stories serialized across 3, 4, 6, or even 10 episodes, jam-packed with enough plot to fill maybe 2.
Yeah. A lot of these storylines were dragged out way too long to fill screen time.
Come on, Whovians. Even you have to admit, this show is very deliberately drawn out. Witness the paradox that is
Yep.
classic Doctor Who, a show that's both timeless and completely out of date.
What you need is a jolly good smack bottom.
Thrill as it seems.
There
to
was a
predict future
lot
phenomena
of
like the
things some
Matrix,
PC people would have some issues with the classic series.
Borg.
It lets you know the era it was in.
Stephen King,
I shall have to go to the Dark Tower.
and B-movie,
According to classical aerodynamics, it's impossible for a bumblebee to fly.
while also being completely inappropriate for modern times.
Odd thing, I could swear he was a Chinese.
But I feel no pain. The opium.
Are they all Chinese?
Gutter scrapings of Shanghai.
And one midget.
And that's just from the episode The Talons of Wing Chiang.
I understand we all look the same.
Wow. So if you like TV shows that you can easily kick back and watch on Netflix, then definitely don't start watching Doctor Who.
Oh, Jamie. He's in my
As this
top 5
completionist nightmare will
companions
send
for
you
sure.
scrambling to find episodes that the BBC erased decades ago by hunting down dozens of DVD box sets, animated recreations, and audio plays, while you secretly pray.
Those
that all of
animated
this magically
recreations
turns
were
up like
kinda
those episodes
creepy.
From Africa. But if you do somehow make it through all 26 series, specials, and TV movies, then answer me this. Why do Doctor Who fans get so angry every time people call him Doctor Who?
I'm the doctor. I keep telling you that.
When that's what the show called him for 18 years!
You don't understand. I knew you wouldn't. Never mind.
Starring
They're so
easily
condescending.
defeated Daleks.
Hey, that's before they evolved to become even stronger.
Slow deaths.
I think every show of the time was guilty of this one. I mean, the show started in what, 63?
Convoluted
And went
plots.
on into the
For
80s?
one moment that I forget that I bear the sacred blood of the Franzine Grig.
The Vaxil is kept on the Eden crystal. I'm about to transfer the crystal to the Hecate.
The more the Toxel doubts you, the more you must convince all flock that you are Yetaxa.
Bad fight scenes.
So many back and forths in that storyline there with the Yetaxa.
Nice to see you again.
Flubbed lines.
And you're both not, you're not both shooting an iron unconscious.
No, I shan't. You shan't take him.
You found the inner compartment containing 3 Daleks?
They even animated that one.
The accumulation of evidence is overwhelming!
The Mentians are heading towards Sector 5.
Oh my god, I remember I was watching this episode at the gym and I was really waiting for this to be over. This was ear piercing.
Okay, I'll do anything. I'll listen to the Big Finish audio plays. I'll watch Canine and Company. Just make it stop. Make it stop! Inspector Spacetime. So the sonic screwdriver, that's basically just a fancy door opener, right?
It's only a door handle.
Yep, that's what I thought. Now that you know the Doctor's history, you're ready to check out our trailer for modern Doctor Who.
Oh my gosh. They nail it. Like, it definitely shows its time. Like I said, there's a lot of things, a lot of comments and stories and things that would not be okay to do now. The modern show is very conscious of social politics. Well, I wouldn't say social politics. I would say the new show is very self-conscious of being progressive. They're very respectful to everyone, every form of life, every person, every culture, everyone. Like the new show is very, it's just modern. So that's something that was a little, going back to watch, was just like, oh, this is not the 2000s. This is definitely the 60s onward. But still, they have their charm. They're really great. Like, there's a lot of really good stories. There are some stories even in the classic show that I would say are better than some of the stories in the modern. Man, there's so much outside of those small series of episodes that is just so hard to get through. Like they showed, man, they stretch out conversations. You'll have episodes where it's just people getting away, getting caught again, to get away, to get caught again, or just like loops. Events just kind of loop because they had I think they had a quota of episodes they needed to fill out for each story. Because unlike the current series where you may have a 2 or 3-parter sprinkled throughout, it's pretty much just one 45-minute episode for Doctor Who currently. Back then, it was anywhere from 5 to 6 episodes for one story, and the majority of the series were only 20-minute episodes. But I would say, like they said, there's only enough relevant story in any one of those 5 to 6 episodes that could maybe fill 2 or 3 at best. There is rarely a storyline that needed every one of those episodes. There were very few, if any, that needed to be as long as they were. But some of the classic some of the classic Doctors are definitely in my top 5. I'm not gonna make a list. I might make a list as another video. Who knows? Maybe I'll go down that territory too and do like some top 10s, Omni top 10s. I don't know. I have plotted this out. I do have my Doctors ranked. After finishing everything, I did make a full list. I hope I didn't lose it, because otherwise I'd have to scramble my brain and make those hard choices again. But again, I definitely recommend starting with, if anybody who wants to get into Doctor Who, I know there's a lot of people that have that OCD to start at the beginning. But in this case, especially with a lot of especially how dated it is, it might be harder to enjoy it. So I would watch the modern show first. I would start with, it in itself is still painful, but I would start with season 1 of the revival and progress at least into season 2 to see if you like it. Or, like I said in the previous video, if you watched that, some 2 entry-level episodes that really give you a good feel of what the tone and feel of the show is going to be. And I know one of them is definitely recommended for people who are getting into the show, and that would be the episode Blink. I would check that out. And then I would also check out the Vincent van Gogh episode. I would have to pull up the name, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. But if you just look up Vincent Van Gogh, Doctor Who, you'll find the episode. You've probably even seen the clip floating around on social media before, because it's got one of the most emotional, hard-hitting scenes in it, in the series, and in most shows, that I still will get emotional anytime I see it. But I definitely recommend the show to everybody. It's got something for everyone, and I mean that. The Doctor has become one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. This show has become one of my favorite shows of all time. And even the current Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, is doing a great job. I know there's a lot riding on that because it is the first female Doctor, and she's knocking it out of the park so far. And I cannot wait to see what adventures are ahead of her and where we go from there. But anyway, thanks everybody for stopping in. If you want to keep up with my reactions on the current season, you can follow me on the Stardust app, and I post the 30-second reactions at the end of every episode that I watch on there. It's the same name, Omni Media, exactly how it is. I'll even include a link in the description. I'm also following The Flash, the new seasons of The Flash, the new season of American Horror Story. Arrow starts next week. There's a lot of other shows that I'm following. I post my initial thoughts, initial off-the-cuff reactions and feelings to movies that I've just watched. Sometimes I'll put up a trailer reaction on there as well, shorter ones than the ones I have on the channel. If any of that interests you, definitely follow me there and check it out. And I'd love to hear what you all thought about the trailer itself. How do you feel about Doctor Who? Is it something you've seen? Have you watched the new show? Have you watched any of the classics? How did you start? Who's your favorite Doctor? Anything. I'd love to hear any of your all's thoughts in the comments below, and I will catch you all next time.